As long-term travelers, our health is very important to us, and one important part of that is dental health. Today we are going to tell you about how we find vet dentists, how we pay for it, how much things cost, and what we do in between visits to take care of our teeth.
So David and I have been working and traveling abroad, sometimes for long periods of time since the late 90s. So we often will try and get our medical care done when we come home to the United States, but sometimes either emergencies happen or we're just traveling for so long, we need to get care while we're abroad. We have been to dentists in 5 different countries now, in Australia, in Singapore, in Mexico, 2 different times in Guatemala, years apart, and just most recently here in Albania. So we've had quite a few different experiences, getting just regular checkups to having, fillings done, or I even had an emergency root canal done in Guatemala quite a few years ago. It was a lot of fun. So we're going to kind of talk about some of those experiences, and at least for our most recent ones, we're going to tell you what things cost just so you can kind of get an idea.
First of all, how do we find the dentist that we go to? There's a couple different places we go. First off, we go right to the internet. We do a little research online and we look for local dentists and we see if anyone seems like they are right for us. But really a great source is to go to Facebook expat groups.
We love getting recommendations.
The expat groups are full of people who all go to the dentist, all have their favorites, and are all happy to share who they are going to. Usually though, if we meet some expats in person and we talk to them, that is generally where we get our best recommendations.
Part of that process is going to include trying to vet that dentist to see if that's someone that you want to work with. Now, while getting personal recommendations is always our #1 choice because then you get that recommendation from a real life person, there are a few other things you can look for. We're looking to find a dentist who can speak English, and sometimes you can tell that from if they've got a website. That is great for us because we can see how much effort are they putting into attracting dental tourism. If it's a dental tourist hub, it's a very good chance they're going to speak English and kind of be on that same page as you are. What we like to do, like when we're looking at websites, it's not just to see do they exist, but we're looking, what does their clinic look like? Are there pictures? Is it a big clinic that has lots of dentists? Is it a small individual clinic? You have to kind of play detective and look around for those clues. Another thing you might want to look for is where did they go to school? If they got their degree from New York University or something, you again know they're going to speak perfect English and that's not going to be an issue, which really has been our experience. No matter where we've gone to the dentist, they always speak at least moderate English, if not being completely fluent. So exactly how much vetting you're going to want to do is going to be up to you if you want to talk to multiple different providers and kind of compare and contrast what they offer you. But it's just a part of that puzzle of finding that dentist that's going to work for you.
In the past year, we've been to the dentist twice. Our first time was 6 months ago in Guatemala. We kind of waited till the last second to find a dentist, so we didn't do the research that we should have. We ended up going with a recommendation from our Airbnb host. And instead of going through another expat who may have been looking for similar things to us. Our host said that they spoke very good English, and that was not the case. It didn't really matter as far as having our teeth cleaned. I think they did a good job, but we would have liked to have been able to communicate a little more easily with them.
She did speak a little bit of English, like it was okay, but yeah,
we couldn't get any details about what was happening with our teeth.
Now here in Albania, we did a little bit better. We talked to a local expat, some Americans who are here, and they gave us a recommendation to a dentist, and this one was really like cream of the crop. We went down, it was a very nice office. I mean, it looked just like a dentist office that you would find back in the United States. Very clean, very professional. The dentist that we worked with, she was kind of young. I was a little surprised by that, although maybe I'm just getting older, but her English was perfect. And the care that she gave us, it really was in line with everything that I'm used to getting elsewhere. And so it was all very straightforward. She explained what she wanted to do. She did that. It was easy and we had a good experience. And just real quick to give some context, I'm going to circle back to Guatemala. Back in 2010, we were there, and I ended up needing an emergency root canal. My whole face had swollen up. It was not very fun. But we got a recommendation that time from our hostel that we were staying in. We were like, we just need a dentist that can speak English. And luckily it worked out. They sent us to a dentist in town who spoke perfect English. She had a very nice office and was able to do a whole root canal for me that week. That root canal in total, like this is a long time ago, so my memory is a little bit fuzzy, but I want to say it cost like $300 for the entire process. So it was very affordable, pain-free. Like I didn't really have any issues once I got treated, and it was a very effective dental visit. So that was really nice to know. It's kind of my first experience where, you know, things can sometimes go wrong when you're in other countries, and other countries are able to take care of it and are able to give you care that you're used to getting in the United States.
Now I know what you're wondering. You're wondering, how much did you pay for your cleanings? And we looked back in our records and we found that in Guatemala for our cleaning, we paid 350 quetzal, which is about 41 US dollars. And then coincidentally, it's very similar in Albania. In Albania, we paid 4,000 lek, which is also about 42 US dollars.
Now back in the United States, we kind of looked up just what the average you could expect to pay without insurance, and that can be anywhere from $75 to $200. So any way you kind of look at it, we got a pretty good deal for what we were getting. Here in Albania, we also had some fillings done. My gums are receding a little bit, so she did some gum line fillings on me to strengthen my teeth, and those cost 50 euros each. Additionally, I have a crown that's quite a few years old and is going to need replacing sooner or later, and so she talked to me about that. The crown that I have is porcelain infused with metal. It's pretty standard in the United States, but there is an upgrade to that that's made of all zirconium. For here in Albania, the price she quoted me for a new zirconium crown was 250 euros. Now, the one that I had, I paid close to $2,000, and that's with insurance. So $250 for a top-of-the-line crown is pretty attractive from a price perspective.
If you're enjoying this video, feel free to hit the like button. And if you want to follow us with more up-to-date information, follow us on Instagram and on Facebook.
Another question you might have is, will your travel insurance cover dental visits? Now, this is a question we can't answer. It's going to be very specific to your policy, and I encourage you to go through your policy and pay attention. A lot of times there will be exclusions where travel insurance will cover emergency care on natural teeth. So if it's a problem that you've had before, or if it's a tooth that you've had previous work on, it might not cover it. You want to check that fine print. For us, when I had my root canal, it did cover that in total, which was really nice. But for our routine cleanings, we just pay for that out of pocket.
Now, of course, the best thing we can do for our teeth is preventative care. The more we take care of our teeth in between our checkups, the less we have to worry about other procedures that we'll have to go through. One thing we travel with is this Bitve toothbrush. It is an electric toothbrush, but the thing we love about this one is that it is charged through a USB port, so we don't have to have
a voltage adapter.
Voltage adapter, and it works really well for us. We had one in the past that we destroyed the converter because we plugged it into a wall we shouldn't have plugged it into. So this one works really well for us.
Another thing I really like, and this is one of those few things where I get a little brand specific, is I really like the floss, dental floss that I get from Costco back in the States. I think it's Oral-B. I'm not even sure. It's a little blue box, but I really like that brand. So anytime I go back to the States, I make sure I go to Costco and I get the multi-pack. And so usually I'm carrying a lot of these around with us. You can absolutely get floss abroad when we're traveling around. David's not so picky. He'll just use whatever he can find, but it's not always the brand that you want or the kind that you want. So I just like to bring a lot of that with me to make sure I have it.
Yeah, and actually recently we were traveling and I went to several stores and found no floss at all.
Yeah.
Which was kind of odd. In Albania, So that is something to pay attention to, is what you have with you.
Most places you can
Most places
find
have
it, but just know it's not necessarily going to be what you're used to. Now for toothpaste, we do just buy whatever is local, but no, sometimes you can find really weird flavors of toothpaste around the world. We found like red bean flavor, we found lemon toothpaste. So, you know, like you can get your mints and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we've never had a problem finding toothpaste, but just know, again, sometimes there's going to be some unique flavors to try. We hope we've answered some of your basic questions about getting dental care abroad. We're not experts. This is just our own experience, but you're going to want to make sure you do your own due diligence depending on what care you need, which countries you're in, and you know what your insurance is going to help you cover. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're looking for more information on long-term travel, you might want to watch one of our videos right here.